Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guide 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K Steelbook edition of Halloween H2O. Halloween H2O is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Paramount. It can be found as a Steelbook edition available at your local and online retailers. Now, when it comes to this film and just the Halloween franchise in general, I don't think any other series has had reboots and divergent timelines as much as this one. I remember when Halloween H2O came out, they were basically asking you to ignore Halloween 4, 5, and 6, and I was sort of happy to do so. I never really liked those movies all that much. Yeah, they had some moments, but it got way too convoluted with the quote-unquote mythology. But at that time period, asking the audience to buy into it, that was sort of something that really hadn't been done before. But today, it's more or less common kind of a thing. Ultimately, I do enjoy the movie. It is one of my favorites of the Halloween sequels. Yes, it definitely has its flaws, but I still think that they handle Laurie Strode's character, in my opinion, a lot better than what happened in the recent trilogy. I prefer Laurie. I mean, Laurie is still traumatized from her experience. She's still broken, but was able to put her life back together. She has a son, whereas in the new trilogy, she's basically a home alone hermit. So I don't know. I think that it's really going to be a preference, once again, up to the individual viewer. But yeah, I actually prefer the character arc more in this film. And a lot of people seem to forget, this has some early appearances from some today well-known movie stars. You have Michelle Williams and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Josh Hartnett was already sort of a thing at this time, so it's not really an early appearance for him. But yeah, and also the movie clocks in at just under 90 minutes. It's really quick. But once again, I feel that they did more telling the story of Laurie in this film in a better way than the entirety of the new trilogy. Once again, my personal opinion, but Halloween H2O, I really enjoy it. I am not even going to talk about the direct sequel to this film because, woof. Anyway, we're going to talk about the picture quality and the audio in just a moment, but first, let's do a quick unboxing of the Steelbook. Okay, we have the 4K non-exclusive Steelbook edition of Halloween H2O. As you can see, it has a slipcover, but mine's a little bit janky. It's got like a weird fold in it, and I've seen reports online of other people having the same. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to display it with the slip. I think I'll just kind of put it aside. But the Steelbook itself is actually really nice. I like the artwork. And then we have the back. Spine is good. And interior, just some artwork on the interior of the case, not on the disc themselves. Paramount usually doesn't do that. But yeah, I think overall it looks pretty good. Now let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. Halloween H2O on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has a 2:35:1 aspect ratio with native 4K resolution and graded with both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. For purposes of this review, I will be discussing the Dolby Vision encode. Now, one of the unique things about this particular release is that it was part of the Shout Factory Scream Factory line of a trio of films. The only way you could get this particular movie was to buy the box set. Now, right off the bat, it's going to ask the question, is the transfer different than the Shout Factory release from last year? While I do not personally own the Shout Factory 4K version, a local friend of mine was kind enough to lend me his copy to do a bit of a comparison. Almost immediately, I noticed grain structure was more organic on the Shout Factory version. Grain is still present on this Paramount disc, but I could tell some tinkering may have happened. I'm not going to flat out call it DNR. As we all know, Paramount isn't afraid of using it, but I wouldn't rule it out. I never sensed that Shout's transfer to my eyes was artificially smooth. One more difference between the two was the color palette was noticeably warmer on the Shout Factory disc. Both versions implement Dolby Vision, and while Shout is arguably bolder, Paramount's was more on the natural side, but still nicely presented. Black levels on the Paramount transfer are fairly deep, but a moment or two did reveal a bit of crush. Now, let me be clear, I don't believe the Paramount 4K transfer is inferior. It feels sort of like a robbing Peter to pay Paul situation, with Shout's grain structure being much stronger, but Paramount's visual aesthetic a little bit more on the natural side. While I, at the end of the day, would personally favor Shout's transfer, try as I might, my buddy refused to sell me his copy, the differences are going to be marginal and noticeable to only eagle-eye viewers. Do I think it's worth investing in the Shout 3 movie collection just for the H2O disc? I would say absolutely not. It's different to be sure, but the picture is still going to be leagues better than the previous Blu-ray. Halloween H2O on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a DTS 5.1 audio mix. This is going to be a much easier comparison between the two 4K discs, as I really believe essentially they are identical tracks. One of the benchmarks of a good horror film is of course going to be how effective the audio is. I found H2O to be pretty front heavy, minus some use of the score and sporadic atmospherics from time to time. The track itself is fairly mid-energy and never seems to hit anywhere near aggressive. Even the typical jump scare beats don't command authority, and while I wouldn't say it's flat, it's at least in the neighborhood. Now, my buddy actually asked me to specifically check for an audio sync issue on the Paramount disc. At around chapter 11 on the Shout Factory version, the audio slightly goes out of sync until the end of the film. I specifically checked on the Paramount disc and everything seemed fine audio-wise. So in the instance of the audio presentation, the Paramount disc is going to be the clear winner in this regard. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Halloween H2O on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray a B. For those that invest in the Paramount 4K disc, the transfer overall is actually pretty satisfying. The palette receives a little bit more of a natural look with Dolby Vision, and the overall transfer is pretty clean. Have no fear in picking this one up to add to your collection. For the audio mix, I'm going to score this one a B as well. As far as horror audio tracks go, it's not going to be the best, most immersive, but I feel it still gets the job done. No apparent sync issues are present, and the overall track is pretty clean. So if you're an audiophile, I definitely call this one a win. So that is my review of Halloween H2O on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave an Amazon link in the comments section. If you use it, it really helps out the channel, but if you have the disc already, let me know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.